Speaking of Joe Biden, sir, do you have any thoughts on his diagnosis?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, of course, we wish the best for the former president's health. And, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery. Like, I will say, whether the right time to have this conversation is now or at some point in the future, we really do need to be honest about whether the former president was capable of doing the job. And that's no, that you can separate the desire for him to have the right health outcome with the recognition that whether it was doctors or whether there were staffers around the former president, I don't think he was able to do a good job for the American people. And that's not politics. That's not because I disagreed with him on policy. That's because I don't think that he was in good enough health. In some ways, I blame him less than I blame the people around him. And why didn't the American people have a better sense of his health picture? Why didn't the American people have more accurate information about what he was actually dealing with? This is serious stuff. And this is the guy who carries around the nuclear football for the world's largest nuclear arsenal. This is not child's play, and we can pray for good health, but also recognize that if you're not in good enough health to do the job, you shouldn't be doing the job. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a safe trip. See ya. You too.
Yeah, blaming him less than the people around him. I think it's important that you surround yourself with good people. Apparently, the Democrats are just not capable of doing that. And I've got a few other instances that I can show you here that would go along with this conversation. And I will say it's a tough one to have. I've been in that state of mind here recently. If you know, you know. And I'm pretty sure it was Benny Johnson that posted it. I thought it was. Maybe I was wrong. Or maybe it was on X. And maybe I liked it. Nope. Okay, well then I don't know. I don't know where I saw it, but basically it was along the lines of, we can have sympathy for Biden and his cancerous state and diagnosis, but we shouldn't have any for his political actions. Yeah, I don't know where that damn post went. Either way, I want you guys to see this. President Donald J. Trump just posted, just completed my 2-hour call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. I believe it went very well. Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiations towards a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. The conditions for that will be negotiated between the two parties, as it can only be, because they know details of a negotiation that nobody else would be aware of. The tone and spirit of the conversation were excellent. If it wasn't, I would say so now rather than later. Little jab there. Russia wants to do large-scale trade with the United States when this catastrophic bloodbath is over, and I agree. There is a tremendous opportunity for Russia to create massive amounts of jobs and wealth. Its potential is unlimited. Likewise, Ukraine can be a great beneficiary on trade in the process of rebuilding its country. Negotiations between Russia and Ukraine will begin immediately. I have so informed President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, President Emmanuel Macron of France, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of Italy, Chancellor Friedrich Merz of Germany, and President Alexander Stubb of Finland during a call with me immediately after the call with President Putin. The Vatican, as represented by the Pope, has stated that it would be very interested in hosting the negotiations. Let the process begin. Speaking of a process that I'm sure many folks can't wait to begin, and I will share this here with you guys a little bit later about the grim outcome that is almost inevitable with this prostate cancer. But first, Devori Darkins shared this one from the White House with the beautiful Caroline Levitt sharing some fantastic news for folks looking for a $1,000 boost every month to their earnings and income and take-home pay.
According to a brand new paper from the White House Council of Economic Advisors, the average family with 2 children's take-home pay will be up to $13,000 higher because of the increase in wages and reductions in tax obligations. The CEA study also said that the average overtime worker receives a tax cut of roughly $2,000. Again, this is great news for our nurses, our police officers, and all those who work overtime to make ends meet across our country. Put simply, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will be a boon for working class America. This One Big Beautiful Bill is also pro-family. It will increase the child tax credit to $2,500 per child, establish optional savings account for newborn babies with a $1,000 credit added, and strengthen paid family leave. This bill also delivers historic tax relief to America's seniors by allowing middle and low-income Social Security recipients to deduct an additional $4,000 in payments from their taxable income. If Democrats get their way and the Trump tax cuts are not extended, Americans will face the largest tax hike in history to the tune of $4 trillion. Republicans must not side with Democrats in helping them raise taxes.
Now, this is great news, and I wonder how many folks actually picked up on what Caroline Levitt said there in regard to the taxable income of Social Security. That's a big sticking point for folks right now. And right now, I want to really talk to you about an extraordinarily important topic. And that's how the United States of America is currently making sure that its national security isn't compromised. As you know, there are many moving parts from trade to the dollar, and my focus is on materials, the bedrock of our economy. Without them, the U.S. will find it hard to compete with China. And that's why President Trump has signed several historic executive orders to protect copper production and mining in and on U.S. soil. Copper is often called the new oil. It is at the heart of America's future, and I could not be more bullish about it, especially when it is coupled with gold. Copper demand is surging while supply struggles to keep pace, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a full 10 on domestic U.S. copper production. Now, here's where basic and common sense supply and demand come into my bullish thesis. Global mine production is expected to peak in 2026 with a projected 700,000 ton deficit in 2025 alone. Underinvestment in new mines has created a supply crunch. And like I said, this is the time to get bullish and inquisitive on this sector and metal. The U.S.-China trade war has disrupted global copper supply chains. China, which controls 50% of global smelting, faces export challenges. Trump's investing into copper imports aimed at bolstering national security is the leading edge in a worldwide revolution in mining. And I want us to truly grasp the scope of the opportunity with copper mining on U.S. soil. This is precisely what the administration thinks about copper. For example, Howard Lutnick, American industries depend on copper and it should be made in America. No exceptions. No exceptions. President Trump himself says, I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have it, we don't have a military, and frankly, we won't have. We just won't have a country for very long. And President Trump also said copper should be made in America. It's time for copper to come home. The world is hungry for copper, obviously. I mean, just think about the raw earth deals that were executed with the Ukraine. But more importantly, Giant Mining, ticker symbol BFGFF, is the sponsor of today's video. And I want you guys to check this out. Not only does it own a copper, silver, gold project in Nevada, but it also recorded its best ever drill intercepts in September of last year, with additional great results in the past few weeks. This company is the only copper company that I'm bullish on right now. And just a few weeks ago on Valentine's Day, Executive Order 14213 was issued and implicitly prioritizes copper as a critical resource. Nevada, where Giant Mining's copper project is situated, has constantly ranked among the top mining jurisdictions in the world, which is why I am bringing this company to your attention now. Giant Mining's balance sheet is now fully funded. for its drilling programs in 2025. Giant Mining is well positioned to accelerate its exploration efforts and potentially capitalize on emerging copper market opportunities. And this is great news, in my view. The share price is down by 50% since early February due to market turmoil, so I am highlighting the company to you today for a reason. Remember, at a discount, folks. That's what President Trump said, right? He said dip when prices are low. I'm not saying President Trump said to buy Giant Mining Corp, but you guys get the idea, right? This is absolutely not financial advice, just me sharing with you the information that I have in front of me. And Giant Mining, ticker symbol BFGFF, owns the Majuba Hill Copper Project, a past producing mine. And in the past 4 years, management and the company's geologists have actually expanded the copper deposit. And this past summer, Giant Mining hit their best ever drill hole. Historic underground mines at the Majuba Hill Project produced copper, tin, and silver from the early 1900s to the 1950s, including 2.8 million pounds of copper, 184,000 ounces of silver, 5,800 ounces of gold, and 21,000 pounds of tin. And I'll say this again, folks. Listen, all these factors are ones that led to my significant bullish opinion about Giant Mining, in addition to the infrastructure is already in place. It's ready. Access roads, power supply, transportation, water supply, ore stockpiles, processing space, processing plant. They're ready, folks. I hope you are. Do your homework. Check out Giant Mining. Their ticker symbol is BFGFF. And copper is in huge demand. Copper is surging. I want to thank President Trump for his actions, his executive orders, and I want to thank Giant Mining Corp for sponsoring this video. And so here we are, folks. I do have two more that I want to show you here. This one here is actually labeled, categorized under insane, as we can already see why, but you will hear in just a moment as the disgraced Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer absurdly suggests President Trump is to blame for the Mexican Navy ship crashing into the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh my God, I don't even know how he's going to manage to pull this one off.
We know that the Trump administration has been meddling in U.S. Coast Guard operations, from staffing to command and comms. And I have the general sense of a Doge dysfunction in parts of the Coast Guard. To put it mildly, after being fully briefed on last night's Brooklyn Bridge accident, one thing is very clear. There are many more questions than answers. We know that there has been meddling by the Trump administration into the Coast Guard staffing, and now we need to know how this meddling might have impacted the events of last night. We know that the Trump administration...
Oh my God. So you mean to tell me that the Trump administration instructed the Mexican Navy to not only construct and build a ship that exceeded the maximum height of clearance to go underneath the Brooklyn Bridge? Not only did he do that, he then infiltrated the Mexican Navy to send them there. Come on, Chuck. Come on. Come on. God, dog. You can't believe half the shit you're saying while you're saying it or while you're reading it, right? But either way, this is Scott Adams. I'm not really sure who Scott Adams is, but Scott Adams says that he has the exact same cancer as Joe Biden, and it has spread to his bones. He also expects to die this summer.
Some of you have already guessed, so this won't surprise you at all. But I have the same cancer that Joe Biden has. So I also have prostate cancer that has also spread to my bones. But I've had it longer than he's had it. Well, longer than he's admitted having it. So my life expectancy is maybe this summer. I expect to be checking out from this domain sometime this summer. Now, some of you have already.
What a interesting confession to make and even sit here and listen to. But yeah, I'm with JD Vance. Okay, I don't blame Biden as much as I blame the people around him. Okay. Those people around him, the likes of Hillary Clinton, the likes of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, Yeah. God have mercy on all their souls.